So I'm just about to start my fitness regimen, new year, new me and all that stuff. But to be honest with you, I have no idea what I'm doing. So should I go to the gym like before I eat? Should I go after I eat? Like how big is that window to drink my protein shake? They told me I have to do it immediately. I have so many questions. I have no idea like where to start.
Worry not, my friend. We're going to answer all your questions.
And more. God, your hands are freezing.
So it's New Year's now, and we understand that so many people are trying to make an effort to either introduce fitness to their life or start some sort of fitness or health regimen. And let's be honest, that could be daunting.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. Like people think that you just go show up and work out, but once you get down to the nitty gritty, there's so many like nuances and things that you might not be aware of.
That and it's just overwhelming.
It is very overwhelming.
Like from the beginning, if let's say you know nothing, it's hard for us to put ourselves in that position because we've been doing this for so long, but if I know nothing and I just do a quick Google search or something and I see all the options and I look through social media and everyone's telling you something different, like where do you even start?
Well, this is a good place.
This is a good place. So this would be a great podcast to send to someone that you know, a friend or a family member who's just starting and may have all these questions. We're gonna give it to you like we always do. No BS, we're gonna give it to you straight, practical, evidence-based advice for a newbie who's just starting a workout program.
So check it out. Any questions that you may have that we don't cover, let us know in the comments and we'll gladly get to it on the next one. Because really what we're trying to do here is give you guys that base and give you a little more comfortable with just starting your fitness regimen. Because like we said, we know it's daunting and it's a lot of stuff.
And if you are one of the many listeners who isn't a newbie, and you're probably gonna want to skip this right now, maybe don't, just because you might be surprised at some of the answers that we give, and then you could be the one to explain to this person, this friend of yours, when they ask you questions about fitness.
Yeah, so with that being said, I'm Victor, that's Julian. I know I don't say his name a lot anymore, but we're over that, it's a new year. And we're here, not next to any sort of garbage disposals at all.
Every time.
We're not at all, not even one. But we are here in the heart of Miami Lakes, PSN, if you guys know the area. Or if you
Country
don't,
club.
come work out, we'll kick your ass. Or take it easy, whatever you're into.
All right, so let's get right into the questions.
Let's go.
We asked, I Googled.
We asked 100 people.
We asked Google, we
It's
asked
family
AI, we asked everybody what the most common, frequently asked questions are.
But most importantly, we're doing this with 15 plus years of experience with questions asked that people constantly were asking, especially when they're starting new.
That's true. But I think with doing it for so long, you sometimes forget just how like basic and how beginner somebody is. Usually we get, even the people that we get, like they kind of get it. Like that's why they're here. They get that they like need help and they maybe tried it in the past. Anyway, question number one, big question: how often should I work out?
And we've covered this one a few times, but I don't think it hurts to reemphasize that. Obviously, the more you work out, the faster results you're going to see. But if you're just starting off, we don't recommend jumping into. A lot of people are overly ambitious, I would say, and they just jump into a fitness routine. They're like, I want to do 5 days, and we're like, pull the reins back, because that's a little aggressive. It's the same thing that we tell people with when they want to do the 75 hard challenge. It's a little aggressive. It's a little. It's a little too much if you're not used to it. Your body needs that recovery time, especially if you're doing like serious strength training like we do here. You're gonna need some recovery time. So what would you tell a beginner? How many times a week should they work out?
I would tell them that they have two options. The first option would be start with just a few times a week, let's say 2 to 3 times a week. And that could be a 30-minute, 45-minute session, whatever. The amount we're gonna cover later, but let's say 2 to 3 times. That's option one. Option two is do it more frequently, like every day or every other day, but way, way, way less time, like 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. Both of those are good for their own reasons. But the idea being that you want to start relatively like small and slow and kind of prove to yourself that you're gonna be working out consistently before you start thinking about the more overwhelming that you try to take on, like let's say you do 5 days a week, like you said, 6 days a week, the easier it is for you to say, man, this is hard, this is a lot, screw this. Like you want something that when you think about it, it's not that daunting. You're like, I could do 2 times a week. I could do 3 times a week. That's not that crazy.
It's like when you look in your sink and there's a whole bunch of dishes and you're looking, you're like, okay, that's a lot. That's like the equivalent of the 5-day workout week.
That's a great analogy because it'll be like if you clean up a little bit each day, they don't pile up. But once they pile up, that's
I gotta do 5 days this week and I've never lifted in my life. Like
exactly.
Not to mention you're gonna be really sore.
Yeah, I would say the advantage of doing let's say the first one, which is what most people that come to us like a personal trainer do. It's like, hey, let's start with 2 times a week. Is that 2 times a week is not a lot out of 7 days of the week. You can get a pretty decent workout and pretty decent results with 2 times a week. But then the other one, which I really like, which would be doing something daily or every other day, is that the more exposure you have to something, the quicker it becomes a habit. Like, you got to go for that walk. Like, it's just part of your daily routine. Or, you got to do your little circuit, your body weight circuit. So, like I said, there's advantages to both. And depending on, like, what your lifestyle is, like, let's say you're a nurse and you work 12-hour shifts, you're probably not going to be working out the days that you do your shift. So maybe for that person, you work out 3 days a week when you're not working. Something like that.
Yeah, it's all relative.
But if I'm like, work from home, entrepreneur or something like that, I can go for a daily walk for 15 minutes. It's going to be great for my mental health. It's going to be great to kickstart my day. You're outside in nature as well, hopefully, or at least getting some sun exposure. And that comes with a whole lot of, other benefits that
a myriad of benefits. Yeah. So the answer to the question would be either 2 to 3 times, 45 minutes to an hour, or do these micro workouts that we always talk about, 15, 20 minutes a day.
And importantly, you're going to gradually increase that once you prove to yourself that you are the type of person that's going to work out consistently. Then, of course, we'd be lying if we told you 2 times a week forever is great. Yeah. No, like, let's be honest. If you're at our level, you need to be working out 4 or 5 days a week to continue seeing gains, or
otherwise you're going to plateau.
Yeah, you're definitely going to plateau. So, but start small and then gradually increase frequency. All right, next. Do I need to warm up before exercise?
Are you asking me, or is this one of the questions?
It's one of the questions.
So I know a lot of people don't like warming up. They just like jumping into things. That's always the kind of person I've been. But I am a believer that you should warm up, that the general population absolutely needs to warm up, and you need to prime these muscles, especially because let's be honest, you come in the morning, you just woke up. So your body's cold and your body's not ready for this explosive dynamic activity. Or if you come in the afternoon, you've been sitting all day at work. So either way, you should warm up. Your body's not like amped and ready to go, no matter how much you think you might be.
Yeah. Now, the follow-up question to that is, okay, I should warm up. What kind of warm up? And that is an important thing to discuss, because when you go out, and I like leave this gym and go to another gym, or I go out and I see people that are about to go for a run, I always see them doing like static stretching for the most part, or they do the classic leg behind the hat.
Yeah, such a good one.
They don't really know, like most people don't really know what the hell they should be doing as a warm up. So it's important to give a distinction that you don't want to static stretch. You don't want to get into a stretch position and hold before a workout. You want to do what we call dynamic movements. Dynamics is just a fancy way of saying that you're not holding the movement. You're going through ranges of motion, right? So a body weight squat or an air squat is a dynamic warm-up. A leg swing, something like that.
Yep.
You want to do dynamic warm-ups before your workouts. If you want to stretch at the end of the workout.
And you also want to replicate what you're going to be doing. So if you're going to be doing a leg day, you definitely want to get those legs warmed up. Like you said, do some body weight squats, some jumping jacks, things that are going to get the blood flow into the legs, kind of prime those muscles and that movement. So if you're going to be hinging, deadlifts, RDLs, you want to make sure you're doing some IYTs, bending at the hip, really get those same muscles going. If you're doing upper body, grab a band, do some pull-aparts, some dislocations, maybe a set of push-ups if you're able.
Yep.
Definitely get those same muscles working and warmed up.
Don't overcomplicate it. Like it's literally like, I'm doing legs. Okay, anything I can think of that's leg warm-up. Swing my legs around, do some hip circles, do some even like farmer's carries where I'm just walking with a little bit of weight.
Buckets.
Don't overcomplicate it. It's 2 to 5 minutes max, and just moving around, and that'll get you ready. The other thing I would say is, if your workout is so light and easy and like cardio based, like let's say I'm gonna do a slow cycling on a stationary bike, or I'm gonna go for a walk, you don't need to warm up for that. That is like, it's too low intensity.
Just bike slower.
Yeah, exactly. Or like walking is, you don't need to warm up to walk,
Unless you have like some sort of injury that you need to stretch out, like an ankle or something, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
What do you say to the people that are gonna work out and they like to ride the bike like 5-10 minutes before?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say as long as you don't gas yourself.
Yeah, and again, I would, like, if you're gonna do a pushing workout where you're doing a lot of pushing and pressing, like the bike is gonna warm you up as far as like increasing body temperature and stuff like that. But I would still do a little bit of a shoulder warm up before that workout. Like you said, prepare the specific joints and muscles for the work that's about to be done.
For action.
What equipment do I need?
3 podcasts ago.
Yes, I was just going to say that. There's a whole podcast on equipment for your home gym specifically.
Yeah.
But let's say this person, not everyone's going to do it at home. So I guess there's a few scenarios for this. Like, where are you planning on working out? Are you gonna do it at the local park? Are you gonna invest in a home gym or a few like pieces of equipment? Or are you going to join a membership gym? There's a few different options
like,
there.
what goals do you have? Are you trying to be a runner? Because if you're trying to just run and do cardio, you don't really need anything.
You shouldn't, because
Yeah.
you need strength training.
But
So
but if you're gonna strength train, then these are some good questions. And then it all goes down to, a lot of people come in here and they don't see machines. Like, they're used to, you think of a gym, you think of a Smith machine, you think of a hamstring curl machine, you think of a chest press machine, but they come into a gym like ours, which is more free weights and more functional, I would say, or traditional strength training, and they get a little like confused and like, wait, but where's all the equipment? And your body is the equipment. No, but really, like we always say, you don't need a lot. You could do a lot with dumbbells, and if you have a barbell and a squat rack, even better. Like, I don't think you need much more than that, especially if you're just starting off.
yeah, for sure. It definitely depends on what you're trying to do. But if you're just starting off, some light dumbbells, some resistance bands, that should pretty much do it. I would always want to emphasize that it's not about the equipment, it's about consistency. So it doesn't matter. You could do it. I can give you an excellent workout you could do with your body weight, especially as a beginner. As a beginner, you don't really need weight.
Yeah, just go up the stairs 5 times.
Like, do lunges. Those are hard enough, There's certain exercises that you don't really need that much weight, but what's more important is the committing to doing the exercise. So if you're just going to do push-ups and squats, do push-ups and squats like all the time.
And do them well. I think it's something that people underestimate. It's like, oh yeah, I can do a squat with 25, yeah, but your squat looks like shit. So break it down. Like we always say, a push-up, even if you're just starting and you think you do it on the floor, don't. Like, elevate your hands, do it on a barbell, do it somewhere elevated. Till those proper mechanics are down, then you could just kind of start like increasing your intensity.
You got a good like 2 months of not needing any equipment at all.
Take advantage of it.
To like really prove to yourself that you're gonna do it, and to start seeing the results that, okay, now this is becoming too easy for me. I can do lunges, no problem. I'm gonna need a little bit of resistance here. But you got a good 2 months to prove to yourself and to save yourself that money that you can just not have any equipment at all.
And let's be honest, if you try to go too hard, too fast, you're gonna get discouraged. You're gonna be in a lot of pain. You might even hurt yourself. So starting small and starting with these like minimalistic workouts is beneficial throughout the whole.
That's a really good point. That just gave me an idea of something that's really important, is that not only is it smarter to start with less, it could be potentially dangerous to start with like just jumping into like a CrossFit class if you haven't even worked out or lifted a weight, and now you're expected to lift barbells, do Olympic lifting, even if they're not having you do like the advanced ones. Like, it's too much. Your body is not used to those kind of things, and you have to little by little get it ready to do the harder, more complex stuff. So I would argue you need to start with like the most basic, like very little weight, and just getting your body, ready to do harder stuff.
For sure, and that's whether you're a complete beginner or you were an experienced lifter. Oh, I was on the high school football team, yeah, but that was 20 years ago. So don't go in expecting to do the same weight. Take your ego out of the equation. We don't see it here because we actually try to educate people, but we see it out in the general population. These guys that haven't worked out in 20 years, and you'll see it at the Turkey Bowl. You'll see Unk, who hasn't run a route in 10 years, goes out there and pulls a hamstring or pulls his groin immediately because tries to go out and sprint. Like, you gotta, incrementally get into these things.
Yep, you can pull a Kevin Hart and pull both of your groin muscles and
yourself.
end up in a wheelchair.
And
even though he works out,
working out. So
yeah, but he didn't warm up. So there you go. The importance of a warm up.
Number 2.
Okay, cardio versus strength training. Which one should I do?
Debate. Both of them.
Both of them. Next question.
All right, moving on. They're both, I would say, equally as important because they both carry different facets of what we consider fitness, whether it's how you look. A lot of people look at runners and they're like, oh, but I don't want to be scrawny. Yeah, but you still need to be cardiovascularly healthy. Like, and your lungs have to be healthy. There's no debate. You should definitely be doing both.
Yep, absolutely.
And what do you say to the people that say, oh, and hopefully you don't have this question in there, I want to start with you guys, but first I'm going to do cardio so I can lose weight.
You beat me to it. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
So I'll answer that, but first I would like to go through like the benefits of both. So you said the benefit of cardio, they're pretty obvious, but then there's benefits to strength training, which is our bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk all day about.
Yeah, I mean, everyone should be strength training just for the sheer fact that if you're not working on getting stronger as you age, you're getting weaker. That's a fact. You're not going to stay the same. You're getting weaker and you're losing muscle, and your bones are getting more brittle as you age, right? And I'm not talking about 60-year-olds. I'm talking about 30, plus, you already start declining, right?
It's all downhill from here.
Yeah. So you need to be doing it just to not be super weak as you get older. And then, of course, if you want to look a certain way, if you want to be lean, if you want that nice ripped physique, you need to be doing strength training. If you want to, be stronger, you need to be doing strength training, mobility, stability, all that kind of stuff, coordination. All that requires strength. So, obviously, that's like our bread and butter, and that's what we strongly feel that you should be doing. But all the research backs it up, so don't take our word for it.
And this is just talking the physical. We're not even talking about the mental, the
Yeah,
hormonal
of course,
benefits. So,
of course.
which we've
Metabolic.
we've covered hundreds of times in other episodes, but they're both important, guys. Don't pick one or the other. People are always gonna the internet always wants to make you, oh, strength training is more important. Obviously, we're a strength training gym. We're gonna tell you that strength training is important, but both are equally important. So don't neglect one for the other.
So to answer your question, which is actually a very common question and misconception, which is, I need to lose a lot of weight. I can't think about strength training, all that muscle building stuff. I'm gonna leave that for later. I need to do cardio, start with walking. I need to get some of this weight off before I start that. Huge mistake. I think we made a whole podcast on this, but you don't want to only do cardio. Why? Because if you lose weight, if you're working on losing weight via cardio and nutrition, but you're not strength training,
Or Ozempic.
You're losing muscle as well. And muscle is precious. You don't want to lose muscle. That's the last thing you want to do, because your metabolism starts going down. And for all the reasons we just mentioned, you're not getting any of those benefits. You're not getting strong, but you're not going to like the way you look. It's the opposite of Men's Warehouse.
Yeah, I guarantee
You're not going to like it. I promise you. If you're only doing cardio and diet, you're not going to like the way you look. The look that you want requires having some muscle on there. And I'm not talking about being a bodybuilder.
Thank God you mentioned that.
Yeah, when I say muscle, I just mean that you're not super flabby, that there's something there.
Your postural muscles, things that you don't think into account, your bone strength, these things are vital that you only get from strength training. Your bones are not going to get stronger in your joints from cardio.
Exactly. To an extent, but not to as much as you want.
Yeah.
So yes, if you want to lose weight, there's no such thing as I'm going to do cardio first and then you need to be doing both from the beginning. Now, the only way I'll excuse it is if somebody has been really unmotivated in the past years and it's been like an uphill battle to get themselves started and they absolutely hate strength training and they love something else. Well, they don't love it because you've been a lazy shit and you haven't been doing it. But let's just say that if you were to work out, I'm a runner. That's my thing. I just like to run. I know people like that. I just run. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're getting back into it. I'll allow you to run for a month, Go, just run, dude. Why? Because I want you to get it going. Get the machine going, get the momentum. Do whatever you got to do to just get yourself going. If that's going to help you get started, as opposed to I don't like weight training. I don't want to. It's going to delay you for another 6 months. Fine. By all means, do your cardio. But then always make sure that once you've gotten there, once the momentum is there, throw in some strength training because it's super important.
Yeah, and don't just take it like we said. Don't do it as I can't strength train because I'm too overweight.
That's nonsensical.
From a scientific point of view, it's nonsensical.
And by the way, it's way safer to lift weights than it is to go for a run or any of that other high impact cardio.
Exactly. So what we're trying to do here is speed up, as they say, your metabolism. You're trying to build that muscle. You're trying to do all these things that are going to help you burn that fat. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense because people think of cardio and, I'm burning fat on the spot immediately.
Yeah.
And they don't consider the fat loss benefits that come from strength training.
Yeah. Just take it from us. You want to have as much muscle as possible, as little fat, and you're going to thank yourself for doing that because then you can afford, quote unquote, to eat a little bit more. And this is why lean people, we all hate them for that, but we're part of it. But we can eat a lot more because we're lean. The muscle requires more calories. Burning. Exactly. So you don't want to do yourself a disservice by losing muscle because, again, we're not trying to lose weight here. We're trying to lose fat.
Exactly.
So just to give some practical advice on if you're just starting off and you want to pick between the two or pick both, then we've talked about this ad nauseum, but I would do either alternate between, one day you work out strength, the other day you work out cardio. You could do, let's say, 4 days a week, 2 and 2. That's nice and easy. However way you want to split it, as long as you're getting a little bit of each.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I segued into this thing, thinking about the people that warm up on the bike or on some sort of cardio equipment. A lot of people are like, I'm already on the bike. I might as well do my 30 minutes of cardio. And that's not something that we recommend. We want you guys to have as much energy as possible for your strength training session. And we want you to have that energy. We want your body to be ready to go and do these heavy lifts, not burn yourself out on cardio to then do your strength training. If anything, if you only have one day, I would say strength train and then do your cardio after.
Yeah,
if you only
for
you're very limited on time.
Yep. I would also say that just as a pro tip, there's so many ways to get these benefits that aren't like these rigid, like you have to go in and do bodybuilding for an hour and a half. Like that's what lifting weights is. No, it could be resistance bands. It could be animal flow. Like there's so many different ways to do it that you're going to have to experiment a little bit and find what you like a little bit more. Because if you were to tell me that I had to do HIIT circuits to get my cardio for the rest of my life, I'd be like, absolutely
Just
not.
kill me.
I don't like it. I don't like it, but I know freaks and psychos that love HIIT circuits. And what I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is like just doing hard exercises that like, get your heart rate up back to back to back to back without resting or with very little rest in between. When you feel like you're dying, like your heart rate is up, I personally don't like that. I'd rather go for a run. I'd rather do zone 2 cardio. But some people love that. So again, if I make the person that hates it do it, they're not going to be very consistent. So find a some people like love Zumba, right? Like I wouldn't do Zumba, but some people love it. So if that's the way that you like to get your cardio, then by all means, go for it. There is no one way.
Yeah, I always commend people for doing their own, whatever they're into fitness-wise. Like, I don't want to shit on any, like, obviously there's some that are just dangerous. If it's dangerous, then I'll tell you. Like,
or too wacky.
Yeah, I don't think you should be doing that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But if you're telling me, like you said, I like to do Zumba as my off days, I know it's kind of like, but no, that's fine. You're moving your body. You're doing something. Like, that for me is way more important than doing something that's super proper and like, you have to be this rigid and jog. No, like,
for sure. Don't force yourself to do something that you absolutely hate.
Unless it's strength training, do it.
Well, that's the thing is, this is where it gets tricky, where it's, I always pick on freaking pickleball, but it's just like the popular thing. I only like playing pickleball, so that's my exercise, right? Yeah. Like that's enough because I play a good amount of it. Okay, great. Granted, like you're probably gonna be healthier than the average person, but I would still argue that you need to strength train, So even though you don't quote unquote like it, we don't have to like everything that we do. Force yourself to do 20 minutes 2 times a week. Like it's something. I'm getting my strength training. Or find an awesome gym like Be Fit where you like the people, you like the community. Like
that's what I was
I'm sure half our clients don't love getting their asses kicked every day here, but they like the people, they like the trainers, they like the environment. So find that.
That's what I was gonna say is like there's always something that could be a little bit better. Even if you don't like it, like I would hate to go to a freaking Planet Fitness here with these Cubans. I'm Cuban, I can say it. I would hate to go there and work out in jeans with people. That would be my nightmare. But if I come to somewhere like this and it's cool and it's like I'm having fun with the people, they're making me laugh, I'm enjoying it, and I'm still kind of getting my ass kicked, I might not like the strength aspect, but it's way better than going and putting on my headphones and like watching this guy look at me doing a hip abduction. Like, no, I'm good, man. I'm like, so find that little thing that you maybe don't like but hate less, and I think that's a good way to look at it.
This is why it's important to like send this to someone that is a total beginner, because like, for example, our good friend and colleague Joey, before he started working with us, he hired you as a personal trainer. His idea of a personal trainer was like this teenager at Planet Fitness that's wearing a shirt that says trainer, but he doesn't know pretty much anything about being a trainer, and he's barely certified.
Yeah. And he's watching Sports Center while he trains you.
Yeah, as soon as Joey found us, he was like, oh wow, there's a whole other category of trainers that are educated, that have degrees, that have all this stuff that pay attention to you. So what I'm trying to say is that you're so locked into your idea of what you think weight training is, or strength training, or cardio, that's maybe what's stopping you. You have to expand your horizon to all the possibilities where you're like, oh wow, that's strength training. Like crawling around on the floor and doing animal poses is strength training.
Workout,
is mobility. Yeah. I never knew that. So, that's why we're talking about it all, because you might hate this, but like, I kind of like the idea of doing that.
It's like buying a car, shop around. Like, it's like what you're saying right now is I go into a freaking Chevy Blazer and I think that's the only car, and I'm like, well,
exactly.
I don't really like this.
I guess I don't like cars.
Yeah, but you go to another dealership, you might go to a Ford dealership and see a Mustang. You're like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
That could be your Be Fit, like try different things. You never know what you're gonna like, where you're gonna fall into it. You end up loving.
Yeah, or if like, even if you're not trying it, but you're listening to podcasts like these that are giving you all these options where you're like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that strength training could be so many different things. I thought strength training was some meathead.
Yeah.
Because you have your own perspective of what
Exactly.
this is.
Blame what it is. Blame either social media or the meat or like TV
Exactly.
or whatever it is. But yeah,
The TV.
the TV.
All right, this was a good one.
Really quick though, if somebody tells you they're at the gym for 2 hours and they're doing strength training, they're an idiot. Don't listen to them.
They lying. Actually, the only people that I would believe
Germans,
no,
German
it's,
volume training.
it's like a serious like power lifter or
They're
like
resting
weightlifter
3 minutes in between sets.
or more. 5 minutes, 6 minutes.
That's different. But I'm saying like these general like pop. Oh, I was
For
at the
sure.
gym for 2 hours. Like, all right, you
remember,
wasted an hour of your day.
I remember when our friend Ryan was doing weightlifting. His workouts were so like for somebody with my background, they were so different because first of all, it was like a 25 to 30 minute warm up, and the warm up is, you know, mobility stuff. Okay, get all my joints prepped, and then start the lift with just a barbell. Like for a while, it was like 30 minutes in, you're still warming up, and then it's like put weight on the bar, do your lift, wait 5 minutes. Put more weight on the bar, do your lift,
how many
wait
exercises
5 minutes.
in 2 hours? How many exercises do you
2
do?
or 3.
Exactly, that's
2
crazy.
or 3 in 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it, you know, I would get my workout in, I'm drinking my shake, I'm walking around doing my thing, I come back, I'm like,
still warming
bro,
up.
let's get
He's
still
still
working
warming up.
out. But again, it's like, that was a serious weightlifter. I'm trying to compete in
Yeah.
this thing. Like, you can't,
That
you're not that guy.
You're not that guy,
You
pal.
listening to
That's what I'm
this.
saying. Like, you're not gonna see that guy at LA Fitness.
No,
Like so.
exactly.
So if somebody's telling you that, don't listen to their
Yeah,
advice.
physiologically, you really can't do serious weight training for more than
And you
like
definitely
50
can't do it
minutes
well.
to an
Yeah,
hour.
you can't do it well.
Yeah.
And if you have a proper program from somebody that's knowledgeable, they won't make you do that anyway.
Exactly. Not to mention, ain't nobody got time for that.
No.
All right, so let's talk about arguably the most important thing, motivation and progress. How do I stay on track? I think this is what most newbies struggle with. Because yeah, they're all motivated in the beginning, but what do I do to keep myself motivated? Like once these New Year's resolutions wear off, which they will,
Yeah.
and all that momentum, then what do I do?
And that's a tricky one because usually the general gym goer is not tracking their progress like we would want them to. Like if somebody starts new with us, we're writing down any sort of imbalances you may have. If you have like weakness in your ankle, we'll write that down. If you can't do a push-up, we'll write that down. If you're curling tens, we'll write all that stuff down and we'll keep you motivated using those numbers, and that initial analysis will help us kind of determine where you need to be, and then we'll help people set micro goals, what we call micro goals, and then like a larger goal towards the end. So I think having that is almost essential because you're not just going to be going to the gym blind every day.
Yeah.
Like I think
That's not very motivating because it's
No.
like there's no direction that you're heading. You're just kind of going through the motions,
Yeah.
and it's like what does it matter if I skip or not if I don't have an aim?
And especially what we've noticed a lot is with female clients, they tend to be more on the conservative side when they're grabbing weights and they're doing their workouts. So we know people that have been going to the gym forever by themselves and they're still
same
doing lunges
weights.
with tens.
Yeah.
And that's not, like, we know progressive overload is the key to seeing real gains. So if you're not tracking your numbers, if you don't have goals, even like some little goals and a bigger goal along the way, if you don't have anything like that, some people say even writing it down, writing a goal down is already like half the battle. If you don't have anything like that set, then I think you're kind of setting yourself up for failure.
So what you're saying is you need to be setting specific, achievable goals. And specific is a key word here because what the research shows is that here's what's a terrible thing to say in New Year's. I want to be more fit. What the hell does that mean?
I mean,
You know,
more
first of all,
fit,
it's super relative, it's super vague, it's very general.
if you're a couch potato, walking once a week is more
Exactly.
fit.
So the idea would be very specific goals because the more specific, the more you can track it, you can stay on track, you can make sure, am I following it? Am I not? Am I getting the results that I want or not? Now, the other word is achievable. And the reason that's important is because sometimes this happens a lot. People set insanely unrealistic goals. Like we had somebody the other day who wanted, like the person they were signing up wants to gain weight, and they were like, is it unrealistic to gain 20 pounds of muscle
30.
and no, I think it was 20 or 30
30
pounds in like a month or two. And I'm like, not only is it realistic, it's impossible. I can put you on all the steroids in the world and you cannot gain that much muscle. And if you were to tell yourself, I'm gonna gain 20 pounds of muscle in the next 5 months, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. And what's gonna happen? You're gonna get 5 months, you're not gonna get anywhere near that.
No.
And I'm like, screw this. So what he's saying is, and this is what a good trainer will do, is they sit down with you. All right, here's where I'm at. What is the ultimate goal? Let's say you have an ultimate goal. Okay, great. We're gonna forget about that for a while. We're going to have these micro goals and these objectives that this is where we want to be at. We want to get these little specific things. It could be a weekly thing, it could be a monthly thing, and then all the way down to a daily thing. And then make sure you track it. That's important. You're either writing things down on a notebook or on your phone or through an app. And what's a really cool tip is that a lot of these apps now, like, they gamify the experience. The reason why a lot of these subscription apps that you guys might have is plays like a little game or like gives you like a congratulations, you worked out for the 10th time today. And like Apple's really good at doing this now. Is because that motivates you. That is a way to keep you motivated. Streaks are great. Like you've worked out for this many days in a row, or you've done your meditation for this. There's a reason for that. It makes us feel like I don't want to lose my streak.
And a good trainer is going to be honest with you right off the bat. A bad trainer is going to try to sell you their services no matter what. You could tell that same person could tell you, I want to gain 30 pounds of muscle. A bad trainer will be like, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to sign you up and we're going to do it. We're going to knock that shit out of the park.
Again, setting yourself up for failure.
An honest trainer will sit you down and tell you, hey, look, you're at 30% body fat. I want to realistically see you drop 2% in 1 month. That's huge. That's going to be something big. That's something kind of like achievable. It's not.
But the thing is, they only know it's big because you're telling them as the expert. The problem is that, and
because you can tell somebody you're 30% body fat, we're like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, well, not just that, but I would say that one of the things that our clients struggle with the most, and these are like advanced people. These are people that have already been training, is that they're never really satisfied. So they'll lose. Oh, I only lost 3 pounds or 4 pounds in a month. And it's like, we have to remind them, that's a lot. Like if you lost 2-3 pounds of fat, that's a lot. Of course, if it's like a daily fluctuation, that doesn't matter. But 2%, 3% body fat percentage, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
So that takes an honest trainer, like you said, to tell you. And that's why it's important to educate yourself. One of the things that trips people up is they stop seeing results after a while. And that could be for however many reasons that could be. It could be because you're not doing progressive overload. It could be because, quite frankly, you need to up your volume or up your frequency or make a little minor change. Something needs to change. But what most people do is they say, this working out thing, it's not working for me. Out. It's not working, so let me just stop. Because, of course, you're looking for, the lazy person inside you is always looking for reasons to stop.
The easiest path.
So the easiest to stop is, it didn't work for me, so I'm going to just stop doing this.
I'm going to hop on Ozempic.
So what you need to be doing, the tip here is when you hit that roadblock, which you will hit, that obstacle, or even if the roadblock is life got busy, something happened, you need to be able to pivot and be like, okay, what do I need to do? This is when trainers are great because your trainer is going to be like, all right, let's switch these things up. Let's this and that. I'm going to switch up your macros or I'm going to switch up your exercise routine. But if you're on your own, it's a little harder. You can still seek advice or do your own research, which is a little bit harder. But the advice that we always tell people is don't stop. There's no reason why you need to stop exercising.
If you're plateauing and you stop, then you're setting yourself for ultimately an even bigger failure.
Now you're not only plateauing, now you're going backwards.
Exactly.
So
and that's what we don't want.
And you're going to lose the progress that you've already made.
Think of yourself going up a staircase and you get stuck on a really long step. Stopping working out is just going to be going down the stairs again. You're not making any progress with that.
And I'd like to remind people that your fitness journey is kind of like the stock market, right?
People think it's this. Really it's this.
Exactly. So anyone who knows investing knows that if you expect for your stocks to just go up 2-3% every week, like you're laughably wrong, right? Over time, the stock market tends to go up, right? So, at the end of the year, maybe if it was a good year, you gain 7-8% or whatever your portfolio. But on a daily basis, that thing is down 20%. So your body is not quite that volatile. But in your fitness journey, let's say you look at it from a 5-year, 10-year, there are progress of, I remember I was really stressed there because I just started my business and I took a little bit of a hit, but I was still working out. But maybe my shoulder got injured. There will be roadblocks, but you need to have that mindset of, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to just work around this. I'm going to figure out a way to get it together. And our clients that have seen the best success are the ones that they have that mindset. How many clients do we know that they have injuries, they have a sciatica, they have a shoulder or lower back pain, something?
We've had clients that just had surgery on an extremity on their lower body. Hey, I'm still coming in to do upper body.
Shout out to Carla and Oscar.
That tells you something we always say, which is they've tied their identity to the fact that I am somebody that works out regardless of what life throws at me or how I feel about myself.
100%. And that needs to be part of like the mindset. If you're really going to be serious, if you're not just going to be someone who every year says they're going to work out, if you're going to be serious about this, then it's part of who you are, 100%. All right, so to finish off, let's go with like a rapid fire of
Okay.
busting some myths, some common misconceptions, something that like newbies might think that
Okay.
they have to do or that they hear.
I'm gonna throw some at you.
All right.
All right, let's see.
I hate that calls
Here we
these
go.
fly hands.
Here we go. I call them what do you call it?
What
Birdman.
is?
Birdman hands. All right. I need to work. Sorry, I'm not gonna do a voice. I need to work out every day to see results.
True. Just kidding.
Okay.
Oh, we
Moving
already busted that, so no need to
You don't.
beat it over the head.
Just be consistent. I have to go to a gym to get fit.
God, we've already answered all of these. Obviously not. You don't need any equipment. You
can work
don't
out at
need
a park.
even much space. You can work out at a park, or you can just have a little space in your home where you can do body weight stuff.
We know people that live in a van and they have like little dumbbells and they still got their workouts on.
We do?
Shout out Chris Pontius.
Oh.
Of course, man. All right, next one.
Oh, yeah. He's not the dead one.
Jesus Christ. All right, so next question, a real one. If I don't feel sore, I didn't work out hard enough.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's
that
a
should've
good
been a
one.
big-
Okay, very common misconception. Although you will be sore when you're starting a workout program, odds are you're going to be sore. That will subside after a while, especially if you're not coming to a place like BFit where we're making sure that you probably will be sore because of the amount of variety that we do. Because soreness has to do with like novelty, like something,
Exactly. I was
something
gonna
new
say something when you're trying something
that you're
new.
not used to. But you can have a really good workout, contrary to common belief, without being sore. As long as you know you're on point, you're doing your progressive overload. Let's say like I lifted a little bit heavier than the last time I did this lift, but I'm not sore the next day. I'm still making progress.
Yeah.
I'm still getting stronger. Most likely I'm gonna see the results that I want. So soreness isn't a direct correlation to how good the workout was. It's just more of I did something new or my body is like completely out of shape.
And neither is being completely gassed. Like you can finish a workout
yeah.
and not be huffing and puffing. Oh, and on the other spectrum, you could be huffing and puffing and have done a complete shit workout.
1,000%.
Which we see all the time.
That's
We see
such
some-
a big misconception.
We see some trainers putting people through the ringer and it's bullshit. It's burpees. It's a bunch of BS that's not really working out any sort of facet of strength training, but you're gassed. So people are like, oh, that was such a good workout. I'm so out of breath. And it's like, no, like you can go up and down stairs holding a bag and you're going to be out of breath.
As a matter of fact, I would say that the longer I've been doing this and like the more knowledge I've acquired for myself or my own workouts, and sometimes my clients too, the less gassed that I feel at the end of a workout. In
Yeah.
other words, I've been able to manipulate my workout so that I'm getting the right amount of stimulus without necessarily feeling like I'm dying. Because
Yep.
I understand that you don't need to do that. So if you don't need to do that, why the hell would I put myself through that torture? You know, again, some people like that. They like feeling like they're dying. I personally don't, but it's also very uncomfortable and it just adds friction to like, God, I have to
gotta
do
do
those
this shit,
I gotta
yeah.
do these sprints on the air
Yeah.
bike that are gonna make me no one wants
Nauseous.
to do that, right? So if you
Especially
can
if
get
you're-
away with
yeah.
not doing that, why the hell would you do it?
And especially if you're saying, if you're doing what we said earlier, which is separating your cardio, you're getting your cardio on another day. Why the hell am
Exactly.
I busting my ass doing a metabolic circuit here when I'm doing my strength training session?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And when I do my cardio, for the most part, it's zone two
two,
to
yeah.
3. I'm not really exerting myself too much because I know that that's for the kind of results that I want. Every now and then I'll go zone 5, but again, that makes it easier for me to, I got to do 40 minutes on the bike. That's cool. I can listen to my podcast. I can do something because it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But this happens a lot with runners, right? When you're starting to run, I would venture to say 95% of people run too fast.
fast.
So they
Yep.
say, man, this sucks
Yeah.
ass. Like I am dying out there.
I'm
and it's
guilty
like,
of that. 'cause
You're
I'm
running
not a
too
runner.
fast.
I'm not a runner, and I struggle. My ADHD struggles, and also I guess
To
my
set a
athleticism
pace.
to set a pace. So I'm long strides, kind of hoppy, and I'm like 1 mile in, I'm gassed, and I'm like, what
Yup.
the hell am I doing? And I realize, oh, my pace was a 9 minute mile. I'm like, I'm not a runner.
Yeah,
That's
so
too much.
I follow a lot of like, people that are running coaches and deep in the literature, and they tell you every time the vast majority of your running, no matter whether you're training for a marathon or you're like a recreational runner, should be in like those lower zones where you can still carry a conversation, you're not dying. And if you say to yourself, well, I'm not in good enough shape, like even my slowest run kills me,
Yeah.
then you're gonna have to run, walk,
Yeah, and that's
run,
okay.
walk. And that's fine. As long as you're more or less tracking your heart rate, you're breathing, and you're not feeling like you're dying. So that's obviously like a long little rant there, but I think it was
Still,
important. Was
that
that
was good.
it? Or we briefly interrupt this podcast to tell you about our sponsor. Today's sponsor is the Peter Pan's 9s.
Ooh, no, those are the Neverland 11s. You're confusing those.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
these are the
I thought these
Neverland.
were
No, the Neverland 11s have more of a round base here. Yeah.
Okay, well, anyway, we thank our sponsor, Peter,
Yep.
for,
Himself.
for providing these for us.
He didn't get me any, so I'm a little salty. But he did get me the shorts, the Peter Pan shorts. The hat's coming in next week.
Yeah, so I mean, some say these will make you fly. So
we're gonna try them out as soon as this podcast is over.
We shall see.
How to fly.
Comfy, flat, toe space.
A lot of toe space. It looks like looks like a lot of toe
great.
space.
You can wear them out, or you can wear them to the gym.
Yeah,
no one will make fun of you.
Never. I would never.
So
make fun of that.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
Peter.
sponsoring.
Neverland 11s. Check them out. So guys, hopefully this helped you out or helped out the person that you know is just starting their fitness regimen. Because like we said, it is daunting and it is a lot of stuff. And it's let's be honest, it's hard. Working out is hard. It's not easy. So not only is it hard, but then you're overloaded with all this information. Could be true. It could be false, or somebody could be trying to BS you. So just know that we're always coming to you from a place that we genuinely care about what you guys are doing, about your fitness, about your overall well-being. So hopefully this information helped and you could share it with a friend that is just starting off.
Yep. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff.
The bell still exists?
The bell still exists.
Ding it then, guys. Come on.
Ding
like
that
the Hunchback
thing.
of Notre Dame. That's disgusting.